the controversy about Alex Ovechkin's close relationship with Vladimir Putin.
Around the year 2014 begins Ovechkin's very public and very open affiliation with Putin.
Politics and sports has been intertwined ever since the 1936 Hitler Olympics in Berlin.
Alex is the best advertisement for the war out of all Russian hockey players.
Дорогие друзья,
So here was Vladimir Putin in 2014, just after he invaded Ukraine for the first time and seized the Crimean Peninsula and parts of the Donbass region, killing hundreds of Ukrainians in the process.
Ovechkin Alexander Mikhailovich.
He has invited his favorite Russian hockey players for a celebration at the Kremlin, and chief among them is Alex Ovechkin, captain of the Russian national hockey team, as well as the Washington Capitals of the NHL. Ovechkin is clearly happy to be there. Shortly afterwards, Ovechkin specifically endorsed Putin's invasion by proclaiming it was done to save Ukrainian children from fascism, echoing the Kremlin propaganda lies. Then in 2017, Ovechkin got even more deeply involved in politics. He formed what he called the Putin team and invited other Russian athletes and celebrities to help re-elect the Russian president during an election in which Putin barred his main opponent, Alexei Navalny, from running. To this day, Ovechkin has this photo of himself with Putin as his Instagram profile picture.
Alexander Ovechkin to TJ Oshie.
On his visit to Toronto 10 days ago, Ovechkin refused to discuss the matter with me, so I asked his coach, Peter Laviolette, about it. Coach, a lot of Canadians want to know why Ovechkin still has a picture of Vladimir Putin on his Instagram page. What's your explanation?
I'm going to talk about hockey here tonight. Alex Ovechkin is a captain of our team and a good person. Came here to Toronto to play a hockey game, and if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer it.
Ovechkin did address this issue one time in a brief press conference last February, the day after the latest Russian invasion.
Support Russia's invasion of Ukraine?
Like I'm Russian, right? Sometimes like something I can control, it's not in my hands.
Do you still support him as he leads this invasion of Ukraine?
Well, he's my president.
Ovechkin would not denounce Putin's invasion, but he did make an anodyne request for world peace in general.
I hope it's going to end soon and it's going to be peace in both countries.
The NHL wants to keep making money off of Ovechkin, and nothing short of Ovechkin showing up in the locker room in a full Nazi uniform is going to change that situation.
Slava Malamud is a Russian-language journalist who covered the Capitals for many years until he was expelled from their arena in 2014 for criticizing Ovechkin's statements about Ukraine.
You can't be racist, you can't be homophobic, you can't be beating up your wife and get away with it in the world of American professional sports. But genocide, the war of conquest on the other side of the world, they figured that most people would not care about it.
Like I'm not in politics, like I'm an athlete.
Not in politics. Here was Ovechkin in 2017 on the Putin team.
Не надо стесняться показаться немодным. Я за Путина и не скрываю этого. Путин тип.
That was a message of a politician, of a person who is willingly become a political ambassador and who is promoting tyranny. Because at that very moment, Putin was basically usurping power in Russia, rewriting the constitution to make himself a forever ruler. War in Ukraine was raging, and Ovechkin picked his side very clearly.
The NHL officials have had nothing to say about their biggest star's endorsement of Putin, and no other active players have called him out. One fly in the ointment for the NHL's code of silence has been one of the greatest goaltenders in the history of the game, Dominik Hasek. Now retired in his native Prague, he called Ovechkin's statement chicken shit and has mounted a campaign to pressure the league to take action. Hasek would like to see Ovechkin and all Russian players suspended from the NHL.
If the NHL let Alex play in the NHL, it's exactly like if they give to Russia the tanks and weapons for, I would say, $2 or $3 billion. It's a huge advertisement, and of course, Alex, his value is the highest, without any doubt, because he's the best goal scorer, and he promotes Putin, and if somebody promotes Putin, he promotes directly Russian war.
Why is it that you think Russian hockey players are an advertisement for the Russian war?
Every citizen, it's an advertisement for his country. And your government uses your success for advertise what they're doing and what is the goal of Russian government or Russian state. It's a war, it's crimes, it's killing people, it's genocide of Ukrainian children.
The NHL and President Gary Bettman did issue a statement condemning Russia's invasion, but wouldn't suspend Russian players. Now the league refuses to discuss the issue. The Canadian and U.S. governments have issued economic sanctions against many prominent Putin supporters, but not Alex Ovechkin.
NHL is responsible, U.S. government is responsible, Canadian government is responsible, because they are part of the free world. They have to say what NHL has to do with Alex Ovechkin.
Since the NHL has enforced a code of silence on this issue, for the other side of the argument, we approached Simon Schemberg, a former official of the International Ice Hockey Federation. So what do you think the NHL should do about players from Russia?
Nothing. There's nothing you can do. If Canada is a country of free speech, it's a democracy. And in a democracy, you are entitled to hold despicable views. And you cannot disqualify or ban someone because he is from Russia. I'm the first one to say that Ovechkin holds despicable views, but either you have free speech or you don't.
Ovechkin's ostentatious wedding in Russia was the social highlight of 2017. Putin phoned in his greetings for the occasion. The NHL has made the argument that you can't expect Russian players to say anything against the war because they would be endangering their families back home. Ovechkin himself has suggested that.
I have a family back in Russia, and it's scary moments, but we can't do anything.
His family is, let's say, the closest you can get to a royal family in Russia. His father is very well known. His mother is an Olympic gold medalist in basketball. I would say that his family is untouchable.
Putin doesn't work that way. He doesn't go after celebrities. He trusts his loyal propaganda people to, smear those celebrities, and that's it. Putin goes after people who are either powerless and have nobody to defend them, like nameless protesters in the streets of Russia, or he goes after his political opponents, who are legitimate threats to him, like Navalny.
There are many examples of Russian celebrities speaking against the war without consequences for their families. The most famous star in Russia, singer Alla Pugacheva, denounced Russia's invasion. In Barcelona, the soccer star Nadezhda Karpova called Putin scum who needs to be prosecuted. The retired captain of the men's national soccer team, Igor Denisov, denounced the war in strong terms.
Для меня это катастрофа, то есть полный ужас. Не знаю, может меня за эти слова посадят или убьют, я не знаю.
Almost nothing has happened to his family. He did mention that his child was perhaps kept out of an elite soccer program.
I know it's very difficult for Russian players to condemn the war. I completely understand, but you have to think about one thing. We're talking about maybe 100,000 lost lives. So compare these two things, and you see life, for me, is more important than some little trouble maybe in Russia.
NHL critics have pointed out that the National Basketball Association suspended megastar Kyrie Irving this year just for seeming to endorse an anti-Semitic film on social media because it was considered morally unacceptable.
Most consumers of NBA's product understand anti-Semitism, that anti-Semitism is bad. And most consumers of the NHL product are either ambivalent in Ukraine or don't care about it enough to sacrifice some of their enjoyment. Life is full of decisions. Maybe sometimes we need to sacrifice something for the moral greater good.
As Ovechkin chases the all-time scoring record in the NHL, Ovechkin received a very negative assessment from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the retired NBA star whose own scoring record was just broken. The basketball superstar wrote on his blog, "Ovechkin is not a man fighting for equality and against injustice, just more killing. That is not a man whose athletic feats I want to celebrate, nor do I want our children to look up to him as a hero." Abdul-Jabbar said the NHL should suspend Ovechkin and sponsors should fire him. Dominik Hasek is in favor of governments offering refugee status to any Russian NHL player willing to denounce Putin's war.
It would change completely. And I think the refugees visa would be the best thing. And I have to say one thing, under very strict rules. And if you get a refugee visa and you can play in the NHL, you can be the best ambassador for, the anti-war ambassador. And this is something I would really support.
Supporting Putin is not the same as being a supporter of Trudeau or Ford or whatever. It's not just political discourse. It's the matter of right versus wrong, good versus evil. And Ovechkin has chosen the evil side, and we should talk about it.